Planning a trip to Vietnam? In this video, I'll show you the 3 best options to get around Vietnam by plane, train, or scooter. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which option is best for you. Stick around. So guys, let's get right into the video. As I mentioned, there's different ways of transportation throughout the great country of Vietnam. And the first one is gonna probably be the most common. Most people are probably gonna take this mode of transportation. And obviously it is airlines, airplanes. So the great thing about airlines is that you can get on, get off really, really quickly. They're gonna be probably the shortest form of transportation. Basically throughout most parts of Vietnam, you're looking at about maybe 1 hour from the time that you take off in the air and the time that you land. Now I know there's probably gonna be a little bit further points out from certain cities in Vietnam, but in general, most places are about an hour long and maybe 2 hours at best. I mean, that's gonna be kind of pushing it from certain cities to the furthest point of Vietnam. Now, obviously that's gonna have a few cons with it, right? The cons are gonna be 2 things. One, it is kind of a hassle. You do have to get to the airport at least an hour, 2 hours earlier. So I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Vietnam airline news lately, but Vietjet has been having a lot of delays or cancellations. So that could be something else that's kind of a con on the airplane side, is that you could have delays. You could have weather delays, you can have mechanic delays, or what some people call Vietnam normal routine delays. So you gotta look out for that too. Baggage fees, delays, price of tickets compared to other modes of transportation are gonna be your biggest cons on the airline route option. Now, the other part of the downside of flying in planes is gonna be the cost, especially compared to the other forms of transportation that I'm gonna give you later on in this video. So in general, plane tickets are not that much. Maybe from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh is gonna cost you maybe 60 or 70 bucks round trip on a good sale. So it's not terribly expensive, but our other 2 options later on in the video, I will explain them, are gonna be much cheaper options. So the plane is perfect for people that just want no muss, no fuss, jump on a plane, land in the new city, and be there. So that's kind of your first transportation option, is gonna be actually an airline, a plane, but it does come with some of the cons. So, for example, we have flown from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh, and I think it took us, I think it was right around an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. But the downside, as I mentioned, you have to get to the airport early. You gotta go through TSA. You have to pay for your bags. So some of you guys that don't just travel extremely light, you guys are gonna have to check in your bag. Make sure you're under 7 kilos for carry-on. If you have a bag bigger than 7 kilos, guess what? Those airlines are gonna hit you for a baggage fee. The baggage fee can add up. Usually they're at least 20 bucks. Some of these airlines might be 30 or 40 bucks. And if you didn't book your baggage online during the time that you booked your flight, guess what? They're gonna hit you with a higher fee. So you're gonna definitely have cons on all these forms of transportation, and I'm just trying to go over the cons of the airline. I'm gonna go grab something to drink really quickly, and we're gonna discuss option number 2 of how to get around Vietnam. Guys, as you guys can tell, we're on a noisy, busy street with a whole bunch of scooters, which is kind of foreshadowing my next mode of transportation throughout the country of Vietnam. Let me grab a quick drink so we can sit down and order something. Xin chào. Can I get Tra Tak? Thank you. So this is my favorite drink. We're gonna wait. You guys can listen to a little bit of music while we speed this up, and give me 1 second. So we're moving on to mode of transportation number 2, which is gonna be obviously scooters. Now, anyone that watches my channel knows I am terrified of driving a scooter in this traffic, but this is the most widely used form of transportation here in Vietnam. So this is obviously going to be a no-brainer pick to most people. Now, there's going to be obviously cons and pros to riding the scooter. Now, the first pro is going to be it's very cheap. I mean, all you're paying for is gas. So yes, you do have a monthly or a daily fee for your scooter, but people kind of bake that into their normal transportation costs. So all you're really paying for is fuel or gasoline. And that's very, very cheap. Most people that I speak to, they tell me they spend $3 or $4 a week, if not less, on their scooter rides. And they're driving from Da Nang to Hoi An. They're doing their daily rides. They're going up in the mountains. They're going and exploring other places. So it's pretty cheap. That is a great pro, that you can go discover a lot of stuff for cheap. Gasoline only, maybe a tea, maybe stop off and have some lunch, but you're already kind of gonna eat lunch and have a drink anywhere else, and you ride on a scooter. So that's gonna be probably the biggest con, is gonna be the cheapness of affordability of riding a scooter. Now the second pro, in my opinion, is going to be that you get to go a lot of places that other modes of transportation just can't do. So you're going to be able to go up in the mountains, you're going to be able to go off the beaten path. That's going to be another thing. Buses, trains, planes, all these things kind of have a set path. They have to stay in their own lane, stay on their own track, stay in the sky. So you're not going to be able to see as much. Now, when you get off the beaten path, what you're also going to find is you're going to meet a lot more locals. You're going to see a lot of stuff that you probably don't experience in the city. You're going to meet really cool people that are going to be like, hey, come over here, let me show you experience. Or, hey, let me show you how to smoke the Vietnamese pipe. So all these things are definite pros when it comes to mode of transportation. Now, let's go ahead and get into the cons. The biggest con is definitely going to be the safety. Yes, there it is, the S word, safety. So remember, here in Vietnam, there's not stop signs, there's not stop lights. Maybe every once in a while you'll see a stop sign or a stop light, but in general, it just doesn't work that way. So the safety is going to be your number one con. People come from different lanes. People don't stay in their lane. People don't look when they're yielding. Cars merge their ways in. It's very noisy and loud. You guys can probably hear the traffic behind me. Hopefully you guys can hear my voice louder. Buses are merging their ways. Cars are merging their ways. It's hectic, man. It is very, very hectic. So that is going to be another con. There is two other issues that you got to be aware of in Vietnam when riding a scooter. The first one is us Americans are not legally able to drive a scooter anything over 50 cc's. So 50 cc's and an electric scooter is okay for us Americans to rent and drive. But anything bigger than a 50 cc scooter, we are legally not able to drive. Also, the other issue with riding a scooter is going to be the weather. So if you guys are out here during rainy season, as I spoke about, so if you guys are out here in rainy season or just even a bad storm or even hot weather, extremely hot weather, you guys are gonna have to ride these scooters in this crazy, crazy weather. Humid, storms, everything like that. So it might not be that comfortable, especially wearing a helmet, probably wearing a jacket, maybe goggles or face mask to cover yourself. It's gonna get very hot or it's gonna get very wet and rainy. So those are another thing to think about as you debate about doing the scooter mode of transportation. Now, as I mentioned, I'm scared of this traffic. I have ridden a scooter in the past, but I am terrified of the Vietnamese way of riding scooters and their traffic. But I made this stupid mistake months ago of telling my viewers, hey, if we get to 10,000 subscribers on this channel, I will get on a scooter and ride it. And guess what? That day has almost came. I'm at 9,400 subscribers as we record this video. So we're only about 600 subscribers away. And I am kind of nervous. My hands are shaking because I know very soon we are probably going to hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to see me ride a scooter, I'm going to do a live stream and I'm going to do an upload video. Once we do that, press that subscribe button. It just takes 1 second. It's free. It doesn't cost you guys anything. Just hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see me ride a scooter, or if you enjoyed any of this content that we've had so far, because it does help the channel grow. So once again, thank you for hitting the subscribe button if you just did. And now we're going to discuss our third option of mode of transportation of how to get around Vietnam. So the third mode of transportation is the train, Vietnam Railways. That is my favorite mode of transportation for multiple reasons. For one, the cost is extremely affordable. I love the prices. On average, depending on which city you're going to, you can get tickets for as little as $3 up to maybe about $10 one way. So for example, when we went from Da Nang to Hue, it was $3 US. I couldn't believe the price. I was like, wow, $3, great price. And I think when we went from Dong Hoi to the city of Da Nang, it was like $9 or so. So the train is extremely affordable. The train gives you multiple pros, like you don't have to wait in traffic. There isn't any risk of being maimed or injured like on the scooter. You're not in the air, so there's not a big risk of falling out of the sky or having some kind of crazy mechanical malfunction on the train like a plane. And it's much cheaper than the plane. The cost is going to be comparative to the scooter rides. So instead of paying for gas and whatever your little stop points or maintenance on a scooter is, you are going to only pay for your ticket. Now, the other great part about the train ride is you get great views. So the Vietnam Railway kind of goes up and down the coast. It goes all the way up from Hanoi, maybe a little bit past Hanoi on the north, and it goes all the way down a little past Ho Chi Minh. So you can basically take the train all the way from the north. Come on. You could take the train all the way from the north, all the way to the south. So it's a great deal. You can sit back. The plane basically has AC. You do have reclining seats. You can plug in your phone. So the amenities are there. I know when I talk about trains in Vietnam, a lot of people are scared. They're like, wait a second, is this kind of sketchy? The trains are good. They have good bathrooms. They even have a restaurant on most of the trains where you can buy food. You can recline in your seats. You can sit back. So I really, really like the train. I don't really do the train for longer than maybe 4 or 5 hours at a time, because it does kind of irk me, but any form of transportation irks me after 5 hours. So here's my Will Travels bonus tip. If you guys have to go long distance, like maybe 8, 10, 12 hours or more on the train, how I would do it is I would break it up. I would go from, like, let's say Da Nang, and instead of going directly to Nha Trang, what I would do is I would stop over in these little cities. I would stop over in Quy Nhon, maybe stay a day or two there, jump back on the train, go from Quy Nhon to a small city called Tuy Hoa, which we've done. Jump on the train again, take a 3-hour train from Tuy Hoa to Nha Trang, and end up in your perfect destination that you guys have set out on your train journey. That's the way that I would do it. So for me, there's a lot of pros, more pros than cons. Now the cons for me are going to be, it runs up and down the coast. Like I said, that's a pro and that's a con, because if you're not going to be able to reach all the cities. For example, we want to go to a city like Dalat, and Dalat is more inland, so we can't take the train there. So there's no direct train lines to certain cities, which is going to be a con. Also, it's going to take longer time. So a plane ride is going to take an hour to cover most of the country. These train rides, as I mentioned, If you go from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh, it's going to take about 20 hours, 16 to 20 hours, depending on which train you take. But another positive, which I failed to mention up above, is you don't pay for bags on the train. So the train, you're going to be able to bring 2 bags, 3 bags, almost unlimited. We've never have a problem with that. Whereas if you're on a plane, they're going to charge you per bag. So that's another little pro. The other cons about trains are going to be that they're not going to run to every city. So yes, it does run up and down the coast, but it's not going to stop in every city. So you're not going to have the up-close personal experience of meeting locals or seeing different landmarks, and you're not going to be able to stop in every city. So every one of these modes of transportation are going to have a pro and they're going to have a con. So it just all depends on your budget, your, I guess, requirement of what you need in transportation, and how long you have to travel. So if you're really trying to cover a lot of bases, the plane is probably your best way. It's going to be your more expensive, but it's going to be your quickest. The scooter is going to give you more experience. You're going to be able to see the locals. You're going to be able to see the High Van Pass. You're going to be able to pull off the side of the road and stop in somewhere and say, hey, look at this place. I would have never been able to see it. Or the train. The train is going to be the most relaxing / most affordable option out of all of them. You're going to be able to recline back, sit with some AC, watch the coast, and basically do it for $5, maybe $10 maximum. So every form of transportation that I've been on here in Vietnam has a pro and it has a con. It's up to you to figure out your time schedule and what you guys want to do as far as how quick, how convenient, how comfortable you guys want to be. So once again, if you guys got some entertainment value, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. This channel is finally chugging down the track. If you get the train pun right there, it was intended. Please hit the subscribe button. Once again, happy travels.